Welcome to another episode of Dirty Dog Trucking on ATS. Today I want to show you that another mod that I have downloaded that very interesting. You may have seen some of it when I did a trucks driving by video the other day. Basically it has different trucks, different companies, different loads that you can haul. I went into the load board, for instance, and we're going to look at the freight market. And we're going to put in something up here called cattle. And there you go. We can haul live cattle now. It is limited. They supply the trailer. Now in my case, I would have to be able to get to those cities. I cannot do a quick travel to any city. I can only do a quick travel to a city where I have a garage. For instance, if I'm in Bakersfield, where I'm sitting right now, and I wanted to go to Albuquerque, I could just go to my garages and click on my garage and do a quick travel. Now what the quick travel does is it will take me to my garage in Albuquerque instantly, but if you watch the clock ticks. In other words, the clock runs down, my drivers are still driving while I'm teleporting, and the time is the same as if I were to drive it. So if that makes sense. Basically, if we want to take like this one from Wenatchee, we would have to go over here to Olympia and get a load to Wenatchee, or somewhere to get into Wenatchee. I cannot just land in Wenatchee. I don't have a garage there. My nearest garage is in Olympia, and I have one in Ontario, and I have one in Reading. Those are my three in that vicinity. So I would have to find a load going there or nearby. I could go to Yakima, or I could go to Omak and Bobtail. But in order to get one of these loads, I would have to be in those areas. Like here's one. If I were in Reading, I could take a quick load up to Medford and still have time to catch this load. No, I would not. It's 3 hours and 41 minutes left on that load. It would take me longer to drive from there to there. So that's out. Now if I were in Salt Lake City, there's a possibility there, because here's Salt Lake City where my garage is, and there's a load right there in Ogden. So we could go, if we wanted to take that load, we could go to Salt Lake City. But the clock still ticks. So if I'm in Bakersfield and I have to go to Salt Lake City, I don't have to drive that. I can just simply say travel to that garage, and I would end up at the garage there, but the clock still advances. Now the good thing about the clock advancing is all my drivers are out making money. And I have to tell you, I have 34 drivers now. I have 35 trucks. I drive one, and I have 34 drivers driving the others. I have 7 garages. We're going to look at that, because since you've been gone, I've been a little busy. Okay, so here's my garages. There's 4. There's Olympia, there's Ontario, Reading, where we started out, Salt Lake City, and we drop down here. We have Bakersfield, Phoenix, and Albuquerque. Now I have enough money that I could actually come in and buy 3 more garages and fully stock them with trucks. But my strategy in the game is not to simply buy trucks and buy garages. Not at this point. I could, but I know they're coming out with Idaho and Colorado. So I want to buy garages that make strategic sense, just like you were a real truck company. I want to be able to do that. Not necessarily going to work that way, but the money builds up very quickly now with 34 drivers and my truck running the road. The money builds up quickly. So it's possible that I could buy more garages and still have enough to do what I want to do. But as the company or the software moves east and north, then I'm going to want more garages and more drivers. I don't want it to get out of control where I have garages in every city. I mean, I could do that because obviously the more garages you buy, the more drivers you have, the more trucks you have, and the more money you have coming in because they're all out there working. So, it's about a strategy thing. It's really trying to keep the game as real as I can. And I know that trucking companies don't have a garage in every city. They have them every so often, and they service that area from that one shop or that one dock. So, as a rule, I'm going to try to stick to the way I would normally run a trucking company if this were a real situation. And so that's where we are with that. As I said, the drivers are still out making money. Now, if I say I wanted to go to Salt Lake City, I could do that. I could travel. Say, yes, I want to travel. And as soon as the game catches up, I'm at my garage in Salt Lake City, as you can see right here, down here in the corner. Now, I don't want to be at the garage, but if you look over here at the money, we now have $7 million. Because as I was teleporting, I call it, the clock actually ticked away, and it went from probably Saturday night to Sunday at 1:55 p.m. So now we're in Salt Lake City. We could go in here and we could find that load nearby, which is going to be right there, and see if the load is available. And it may not be, because remember, the clock ticks. It's not there anymore. So they do not have the cattle on that board right now. Let's see if it's on this board. Because again, when I teleport in this part of it, the clock ticks. I didn't realize or don't know, because I wasn't watching in the early stages when I was playing this game and I was a company driver. I could teleport anywhere. I was not watching to see if the clock moved forward. I don't believe it did, because I was using the sleep clock. Okay, it is not available. So we would go here back to the freight market, and we would type in cattle. There's Medford, Bend, Phoenix, Holbrook, and Elko. Now, we could teleport to Phoenix, but by the time we teleport in, guess what? That load's going to be gone. So it's not something you just teleport in and do, because these loads are only on the board for a certain amount of time. Now, we do have one here that's going to be there for another 22 hours. I could possibly go to Salt Lake City and drive up to Bend, Oregon, which is right there. We could take a load up there and then pick up that load and take it back down to Yuma. Abilities are endless. But at the end of the day, we're not going to be hauling cattle today, because I don't have a garage near where the cattle is at this time. But let's see what the most expensive load is that they have. Let's see what the most expensive load they have right now is $151,365. And it's going from Everett, Washington down to our favorite city, our final city that we discovered the other day, in Raton, New Mexico. Now, it is 97,000 pounds. My truck could handle that, I would imagine, but it would be a struggle. Especially because they would have you coming down through all of this, and there's a lot of hills and such there. I think I would struggle to get that there. Either one of those. They're the same load. One pays $143,000, one pays $151,000. They're both going from upstate Washington. One from Spokane, one from Everett. Here's a Roswell, New Mexico load, $143,000. Now, Albuquerque, now this load is probably more in line with what we could do. we could probably easily haul 39,500 pounds. Or we could go to San Simon and drive this one, which would be up to Colville, Washington. That pays $136,000. But it's a 32-hour and 7-minute ride. I'm not looking to do that at this time, and I can't teleport that. Once you're under a load, you can't teleport. Say, oh, I'm in Albuquerque and I've got a load going to Olympia. Let me quick travel. Can't do that. They're not going to let you take the load that way. So we have a boat. Now I do have a driver who's hauled these boats several times from Washington down to Artesia, different places, and she does very well with that. I do have, as I said, I do have 7 garages now. So if we would go in and look at the garages, you can see, I'll put on table view, I have 5 of 5. So there's 5 drivers and 5 trucks in each of the 7 garages. That's the most I can have in a garage because they don't expand any more than that. The daily profit runs from 23,000 and some change, or 22,000 and some change, up to just under $33,000. That's per day. So you can see that we're doing very well. The only one that's doing 100% is actually Olympia. Olympia is doing 100% of the productivity. The others are a little bit lacking. Now I don't drive a lot since I've gotten the trucks and the drivers. I've been busier trying to buy garages and buy trucks and taking a lot of time to do those things. And of course, I'm the one that does the editing for these videos. And so I have not been driving a lot. I have done some. You know, we've seen some videos the last few days. But for the most part, I'm taking time off to edit, to learn editing, to watch other YouTube videos and figure out this system. I did have a problem with several of the videos that the software that I use for editing render them. Once I started rendering, it came up with an error message. I finally figured that out, and I think that's been fixed, so hopefully we'll be good. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. I don't want to get too long-winded with it, but I do want to show you that we can teleport wherever we want to go. We can teleport. I'm in Salt Lake City, and I think I want to go back to Redding. And I'm going to go ahead and travel back to Redding, so I'm set for my next load. And again, the clock does tick when I do this. And so, boys and girls, that's going to be it for this video. And I hope you like the new intro and the new outro. I think the intro might be a little bit too long, but let me know what you think. I may need to shorten that some. I think that's a little bit long for an intro. The outro is only 7.5 seconds. I caught that truck on the camera one time and thought that was kind of a clever little outro. So I may do that for the intro. I don't know. That's what creativity is all about. So anyhow, we will let you all go. Stay close by because we may be going on another run if you want to ride along with us. Hit that bell button so you'll know when we're about to head out. Now, it doesn't give you a lot of time. Once you find out I'm heading out, you need to get in the truck. So don't be too far away from the garage. And we will see you when we see you.